Another year has come and gone, and what do I have to show for it? Quite a lot, actually. So this is going to be a double feature video. I was hoping to have these separated into two different videos, but the past couple of weeks have been absolutely insane, and I didn't really get around to doing it. So I am going to be sharing with you all my 2025 goals, and we're gonna do a little 2024 writing wrapped. I've made some really cute graphics for the writing wrapped, which is going to be on my Instagram and other socials, and I'm super excited for those. It was a lot of fun creating them and like coming up with like the categories, and it put a lot of perspective on what I actually accomplished in my writing year of 2024. Hi, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I create a lot of videos on my writing journey of becoming a published author. So how did 2024 go? Retrospectively, if you had asked me how 2024 was going while in the trenches of 2024, I would have told you that 2024 was pretty shit. And personally, on a personal level, it was pretty brutal. It was probably up there in terms of how 2022 went for me. However, when it comes to the writing portion of 2024, I actually kind of knocked it out of the park, and I'm quite shocked. And it just gave me a boost of adrenaline and energy, and just kind of kicked the imposter syndrome that lives in the back of my brain, kind of kicked it down a notch, because I accomplished a lot this year. So let's go over it. In 2024, I worked on 4 different projects. I brainstormed a couple of other things, but for the most part, 2024 was heavily relied on 4 different projects, and those were Veiled Secrets, which is my fantasy romance that I had on Kindle Vella, which is also now obsolete, but it's also on my Patreon, and I'm thinking about adding it to some other stuff in 2025, but that's future me's problem. The second project I worked on was Project Amethyst, which is another fantasy romance. I think this is the one that I wrote the most on throughout the year, and it's the one that I always went back to. So yeah. The third project that I worked on was Project Whispering Pines, which is one of the books in my contemporary romance world, because that is just a full huge ass world with lots of series planned, and all of them are interconnected and whatnot. And then the fourth and final project that I was working on, which is actually the one that I was working on the most recently, which is Project Cedar Hollow, and that is also in the contemporary romance world that I've created, and that's still in like a draft 0 kind of position. With all of those projects that I've worked on, and then random brainstorming projects, I wrote 103,504 words in the year of 2024. This is actually quite astonishing to me, because I felt like for most of the months that I wasn't really gaining traction on any of my writing. And lo and behold, I not only was actually doing a lot better than I had thought that I was doing, but I've also surpassed my highest writing word count year, which I believe was last year. Like each year I've gone up a little bit, but I've never gone over the 100,000 word threshold, and now I have. I can officially say that in 1 year I have written over 100,000 words, and this is just drafting words. In 2025 I'm going to be tracking my words just a little bit differently. I'm going to be tracking my brainstorming stuff as well, instead of just drafting words. So I've written 103,000 drafting words. that's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. I think last year I was at like the 94,000 word mark, and I thought last year was a great writing year. And this year I thought was a crap writing year, and it turns out I wrote at least 10,000 more than 2023, which, amazing. In the graphics that I made, I also put in how many minutes I was listening to music while writing or procrastinating my writing. And this statistic I just got from my Spotify Wrapped. So I spent 18,735 minutes listening to music while writing and or procrastinating with the writing. I had 4 really good writing months, but I did my top 5 writing months. So my top writing month of the year was February, with 19,362 words written in the month of February, which not only is that just astonishing for the fact that it's my highest word count month, but it's also February, which is the shortest month of the year. So wild. The second highest was November with 16,626 words. May it came in third place with 15,403 words. In fourth place was this month of December, and I don't think I'm going to be doing much more writing than this. It is currently December 30th as I am filming this, and I honestly think the next 2 days I'm just going to be focusing on my bullet journals. So in fourth place is December with 10,517 words. And then in fifth place was August with 9,047 words. I had some pretty amazing word count days, especially when I was live streaming. And my biggest writing day was February 18th, and I wrote 5,281 words in that day alone. Throughout this year, I have gone through a lot of imposter syndrome issues, where I, quite frankly, feel like I'm an imposter. And it got quite debilitating at times. So just for funsies, I told myself that I was in the top 2% of creators who got slammed with imposter syndrome because she's a bitch. I also wanted to include a little bit of my YouTube journey because that is focused on my writing journey. And so I did a little bit of my stats for YouTube. So I posted 30 new videos on my YouTube channel, and I also went live 128 different times. So altogether, that's actually 158 videos that have been posted to my YouTube, which is just crazy to think. Of those 30 videos, I did have one that stood out a lot, and that was the very first episode of the Kindle Vella experience. And I mean, that was a lot of that series was a lot of fun, and I'm really sad that I had to cut it short because Kindle Vella is no longer. But there might be something in 2025 that is similar. So as you can see, 2024 actually went a lot better than I had thought it went. And I'm totally okay with that. But just because 2024 went pretty decently doesn't mean that I'm going to not be striving to make 2025 even better. Especially since in 2025, I am celebrating a milestone birthday of turning 35. And with that birthday, it comes down the daunting fact that I still have not published a book yet. And so in 2025, I have several goals. I have put them in 3 different categories. There is the writing goals, the social media goals, I guess, and just all in all life goals. So first and foremost, the biggest goal of all in 2025 in the writing category is to publish a book in 2025. It will be my birthday present to myself. Hopefully I can get it published by the time I turn 35, or really close around the time that I turn 35, because I would really like to be able to turn 35 and say I published a book. So number 1 writing goal is to publish a book. Now, in order to publish that book, I have to meet a few other goals prior to that, and that is get draft 1 of something done in early Q1 so that I can get something published for hopefully Q2. Of those projects, it could be Project Amethyst, which I have about 25,000 words drafted currently. However, I do need to re-outline book 1 and possibly the future of the series because I feel like it's changed a little bit and I haven't updated the series outline yet. And then there are the couple projects in the contemporary romance world that I have created. I do need to reconfigure that world a little bit in the series lineup, which series or stories come first. I don't know. But of those that I have started, I have Project Cedar Hollow, which has about 7,000 words written in a draft 0, and that's mostly like half an outline with some scene descriptions and some dialogue tags and whatnot, but it's really rough. And then I have about 13 to 15,000 done words put into Project Whispering Pines, but that one also needs a re-outline and possibly to start from scratch because there's a lot of issues with it. Some other writing goals that I would like to accomplish in 2025 is to complete all 4 Wordy Writer challenges of writing 50,000 words or more each quarter. So that would be roughly 200,000 words written in 2025 if I am able to hit the 50,000 mark for each of the Wordy Writer challenges. And going off of that, I would at least like to hit the bare minimum of the Ultimate Writing Challenge, which I am hosting in 2025. And the lowest tier goal for that is 250,000 words in 1 year. And I think I can do it, especially since I'm going to be tracking my words a little bit differently in 2025. I'm going to be tracking brainstorming, plotting, outlining, drafting, revising, editing, scripts for my YouTube channel, possibly blog posts for my Patreon. So I'm going to be doing it just a little bit differently. So my stats for 2025 are going to look a little bit different than 2024 since up until now I've pretty much only kept track of the drafted words. Another goal that I need to do in 2025 is figure out my pen name situation. Am I separating the fantasy romance from the contemporary romance? Or am I having only one? Am I sticking with S.K. Durbus? Or am I going to stick with Stephanie K? Or am I going to use both of them? There's lots of things that need to be figured out on this front. So if you have any advice on the whole pen name scenario, please let me know. And then last but not least, in my writing goals section, I would like to finish creating my author dashboard for my Notion. So from the writing goals, we move over to the social media goals. And my first goal for the social media is to get up to 500 subs here on YouTube by the end of Q1. I think it's pretty doable. I think I'm at like the 370 mark-ish. So in retrospect, I really only need another 130 subscribers before the end of Q1, and I think I can do it. I just have to be a little bit more active with posting my videos, which is another goal of mine. So there's that. Also, I think it would be nice to hit the 1,000 sub mark by the end of 2025. That would be really cool. That's like a stretch goal. I would also like to grow all of my social media accounts by like 15 to 25%. That I'm giving all year to accomplish that. I haven't really done the math on how many subs and followers I need per social media account, but I think 15 to 25% is doable, especially if I'm sticking with like the 15% mark. I would like to get at least 15 patrons over on my Patreon by the end of next year. I don't think that's too big of a goal for the Patreon. I think that's a pretty small but reasonable goal. I need to set up my website, my author website. I've been slacking on it because the whole website thing scares the living shit out of me, but it needs to get done. And following up with that, I need to get a fucking newsletter up. I've been talking about setting up a newsletter for a while now, and honestly, I think I haven't done it because I don't have my website set up. So those are going to be priorities of 2025 as well. And then the last social media type of goal that I have is to create a hub or a space where all of my spreadsheets and templates are available for all of you guys. So I know that I have a couple of like Google folders for you guys, but I want all of those in like the same area type of thing, if you catch my drift. And so now we move over to life goals. So my first life goal for 2025 is to lose 50 to 70 pounds. And I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's also something that I need to do. Over the years I have, after having kids, my body just doesn't really bounce back like it used to, and I really need to make that a focus. So along with losing hopefully 50 pounds in 2025, I would like to also be consistent and walk at least 8,500 steps per day, 5 times a week. So it's just basically to just be more active. I feel like it's necessary anyways for writers to try and do more movement anyways, because most of our work life is sitting your ass in a chair and typing. So I really need to work on doing a little bit more movement. So if I have the means in 2025, I would like to get like a standing desk. That way I can at least stand and like walk a little bit while I'm writing. But those are super expensive. So that's if we can afford it later on. But I do need to start moving a lot more. I would like to read 75 books next year. I know I can hit 75 books in 1 year. Most of the time I hover around the 72 book mark. This year I had quite a few slumps when it comes to books and writing, to be perfectly honest. And so I'm not even going to make the 70 mark this year. I think I'm going to be lucky if I make the 65 mark. Hold on. Honestly, I'm going to be lucky if I make the 60 book mark this year. I'm currently at 57 books read. I'm almost done with book 58, so I might be able to get book 59 in by the end of tomorrow. But yeah, it was not my best reading year, which is kind of shocking considering most of the time when I'm reading a whole lot, I'm writing a whole lot, so it's strange. Another life goal of mine this year is to learn to fucking crochet already. It has been 5 or 6 years that I've been trying to teach myself to crochet, and I've gotten to where I have the first line, but I can't figure out how to get to the second line, and my brain to my hands just, it's not correlating. So I've already started getting this goal set up for success by reaching out to my best friend in real life who did teach herself how to crochet and actually does a pretty decent job at it. And we're gonna get together like once or twice a month and just do like a little girls' night and crocheting type of thing. She's super excited about it, and I'm super excited about it. It not only gives us an excuse to see each other, because sometimes we kind of like push that aside, because even though we are best friends, we have children. She has another one on the way, and life gets super hectic. But this is going to be able to force us to stay on top of seeing each other and not go long periods of time without seeing each other. And I'll finally learn how to crochet because I've been trying to do that for literal years. And then the very last life goal that I would like to accomplish in 2025 is to make Notion work for me. I've been saying it for the past 2 years. I know Notion will do me wonders if I just figure out how to make it work for me. So that's going to kind of go into the whole finish creating my author dashboard goal in my writing section of the goals, but I had to put it in there twice. Yeah, so that is a look at how my 2024 writing wrapped went, and a look at what I would like to have my 2025 look like. Yeah, so please let me know down in the comments how you did in 2024. What was your best accomplishment in 2024, because we all had something that we accomplished and are proud of. I guarantee it. And what are you looking forward to the most in 2025? As always, happy writing, everyone. I'll talk to you guys later.
I said, tell me your story. He took out a notepad and wrote something for me.